So the question is the time of death, thinking of Krishna. So now in the next verse of this chapter, Krishna explains more of the science. Please repeat. Yang yang vapi smaran bhavang tayat yante kalevaram tang tam e vaiti kaunteya sadatad bhava bhavita. Please repeat. Whatever state of being one remembers when one quits the body, O son of Kunti, that state he or she will attain without fail. So therefore, and we'll hear it in the purport, it's very, very important how one is thinking, what one is thinking at the time of death. Some people, they take things for granted. Some people think, oh, I'm a human being. That means I can't do any worse. That's not true. Just because you're a human being doesn't mean that automatically your next life is going to be better. No. Where is that in Bhagavad-gītā? No. You can go downwards. That's explained in chapter 14. You can stay the same, you can go up, and you can also go down. So it's not automatic. No. So this other side of the coin, whatever you're thinking of at the time of death, that's going to determine your next life. Let's see what Prabhupada says in the purport. The process of changing one's nature at the critical moment of death is here explained. A person who at the end of life quits the body thinking of Krishna attains the transcendental nature of the Supreme Lord. But it is not true that a person who thinks of something other than Krishna attains the same transcendental state. See? This is a point we should note very carefully. How can one die in the proper state of mind? And now Prabhupada gives the classic example. Maharaj Bharat, although a great personality, thought of a deer at the end of his life, and so in his next life, he was transferred into a body of a deer. Now that story of Maharaj Bharat, which is contained in the 5th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Bharat was this close to perfection. He was so close. And look what happened to him. So we should not take things cheaply or take things for granted. You may be this close. Those of you who follow sports, I'll give you a mundane example. Last year, the basketball playoffs. It looked like San Antonio had it. They were this close, and what happened in the final moments? A three-pointer, right? Remember? You know. Oh, no, I don't know. I don't. Yeah. They were this close. This close. That's the way life is. So you may make so much spiritual advancement and almost, but like Bharat, what happened? He became attached to a deer. He neglected his spiritual duties. And at the time of death, he was thinking of the deer. And Krishna said, okay. But Krishna is kind. Krishna is not a vindictive God. I would not worship a vindictive God. Krishna was kind. Krishna had to give him the body of a deer, but in the body of a deer, he knew who he was. And he knew why he was a deer. See how Krishna is nice? He allowed Maharaj Bharat to know what the mistake was. So as a deer, what did he do? He stayed in a spiritual atmosphere. He would stay in a certain place where there were devotees and sages. And then in his next life after the body of a deer, he was born the son of a Brahmin, Jada Bharat. And in that life, he said, and now this time, I'm not taking any chances. So as Jada Bharat, he made sure that in this lifetime, no mistakes. And therefore, within 3 lives, he achieved perfection. 3, not bad. Hey, right? Not bad. Prabhupada said, how many people accept Prabhupada? So I will tell you what Prabhupada said. Not once, not twice, not 3. Thousands of times. Chant 16 rounds. Follow the 4 regulative principles. You will go back home, back to Godhead in this lifetime. Now the question is, do you believe it? Some people don't believe it. I've heard it. I have heard people tell me, I don't believe that. But I believe it. You should believe. Yes. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram. Maharaj Bharat, although a great personality, thought of a deer at the end of his life, and so in his next life was transferred into a body of a deer. Although as a deer, he remembered his past activities, he had to accept that animal body. Of course, one's thoughts during the course of one's life accumulate to influence one's thoughts at the moment of death. So this life creates one's next life. If in one's present life, one lives in the mode of goodness, so the mode of goodness means no illicit sex, no intoxication, no meat eating, no gambling. That's the mode of goodness. That's the beginning. If one lives in the mode of goodness and always thinks of Krishna, it is possible for one to remember Krishna at the end of one's life. That will help one be transferred to the transcendental nature of Krishna. If one is transcendentally absorbed in Krishna's service, then his or her next body will be transcendental, spiritual, not material. So, you have to be engaged, Prabhupada said, absorbed in Krishna's service. So there's hearing, there's chanting, remembering, praying, worshiping, offering your food. 9 different items of service. If you are engaged in 1, 2, Maharaj Ambarish did all 9, no limit. But at least do 1. But you have to be totally absorbed. Then you can hope to remember Krishna at the time of death. The favorite example I give. You can have a test. You're driving in the car. Somebody cuts you off. What comes out of your mouth? Haribol? Good. You know what sometimes comes out of people's mouths. Yes. If you're going to have road rage, make sure it's Krishna conscious road rage. Hare Krishna! You follow? But if something else comes out, that means you haven't practiced properly. Or if during the kirtan, all of a sudden somebody steps on your toes, what comes out? These are tests to see how much advancement you have made. Jai. Jai. Therefore, the chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, is the best process for successfully changing one's state of being at the end of one's life. So you have to take up this chanting process seriously. If you take up this chanting every day, then you will have the ability to remember Krishna at the time of death. So as soon as you can, everyone should begin chanting on beads. 1 round minimum. Start with just 1 round. You can do 2? Good. But at least, everyone should do at least 1 whole mala of Hare Krishna, at least. How many you are doing every day? 2. All right. Since you have done this program, and since you have asked this question, I'm now giving an instruction. Go to 3. Starting tomorrow. Can you do that? Go to 3. Should we bless him? Yes. Let's empower him. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Very good. To be continued. All right.